Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. It's time for another reaction video, and this time I am going to listen to the majority report. Sam shuts down the idea of a middle ground on abortion.
I've always wanted to talk to like a real Democrat to see what they would say to this, but
Okay.
it's about abortion. Regards to abortion, I was wondering if there would be any benefit politically to have like a middle ground kind of, or olive branch, or I don't know what you'd call it, but
Aside from putting aside the idea that I think that no, you shouldn't really trade away a woman's right to have sovereignty over her own body.
Okay, I just love the way they totally evade the fact that there is another human being involved. Um, I think it's a way of emotionally distancing themselves from what it is they're defending.
As a tenant, I'm just saying, like, just strictly as a political matter, this was attempted. In fact, Hillary Clinton, back in the early aughts, was sort of leading this charge on some level, and she abandoned it, I think, because she found that also she was going to alienate the Democrats.
Yeah, let me tell you, the minute you budge, there's a difference between what you can get away with politically and what most people want. And it probably wouldn't be that hard to find something that the American public as a whole would be happy with. Um, Most people, even pro-choicers, want to see abortion limited to the first trimester. But as we've seen lately, the abortion lobby, they want to be allowed to finish off the baby if it survives the abortion and want to be able to do it if the woman's in active labor. So you're not going to get the abortion lobby to budge, even though pro-choice people would be fine with limiting it to the first trimester. And then when you start looking at other things, pro-choice people would get aboard with a lot of stuff. But again, politically, you can't make it happen because although pro-lifers politically are willing to give some ground, there is just no way the abortion lobby will give an inch.
But also that it's not, there's no, I mean, the fact is, with all due respect to your family, it's not just, they're not just worried about abortion. They're worried about women having sex.
Okay, and this is something where, because they're coming at it from opposite directions, a lot of pro-choice rhetoric starts with thinking starts with the idea that free sexual expression is one of the highest goods. And therefore, because abortion facilitates free sexual expression, it must be permitted. So because they are starting with sex as this high good, they figure that if you're opposing it because you're opposed to sex. And the pro-lifers, on the other hand, are starting with that child's life is the highest good, and therefore you need to not have sex in untenable situations. So they're perceiving the pro-choicers as wanting abortion purely so that they can rut with impunity. One of the common pro-choice and pro-life perceptions of pro-choice women is that they're just a bunch of sluts and that they just want to be able to throw their legs in the air for any man that happens to cross their path that they're even marginally attracted to, and kill any baby that gets in the way. So he's not recognizing the fact that you're starting with which do you value more, sexual expression or the baby's life?
It's an emotional
that's what I
reaction
think, like
for
a lot of
women having
people.
sex.
But it's not just a question of an emotional reaction. There is a belief amongst a significant portion of the population that women should not be having sex except to procreate.
He's misunderstanding even the most conservative Christian point of view. Now, I can't speak to Muslims and Jews, but there is no foundation to the idea that Christians believe that sex should be only to procreate. It is about that bond between the husband and wife. So if you're having sex outside of marriage, you are having a bond to somebody that you are not going to be married to, and that will weaken the bond when you eventually marry. And of course, having extramarital sex is adultery, which most people frown on, even if they aren't of a particular religious persuasion. Now, Catholics tend to focus more on there's only one place that it's okay for a man to deposit his seed, and that's in his lady wife. But they also hold that natural family planning is a good thing. And that again is showing that it's about that husband and wife bond. Natural family planning, they are planning to have sex in a way that reduces the chances that they're going to procreate. So this idea that sex is only for procreation, well, no, they wouldn't be teaching natural family planning and saying, okay, you can choose to have sex to maximize the chances of conception, or you can choose to have sex at a time to minimize the chance of conception. And a lot of the Protestant beliefs allow for contraceptives. So again, he is totally misunderstanding where people are coming from. This is an appalling degree of ignorance of what your opponents believe.
They should not have any ability to inhibit the procreation. It is also because it is an assault on the traditional family, which is that the woman is chattel essentially of the husband.
Again, this guy's ignorance is absolutely appalling. It's just like,
But I guess what I'm saying is I think that if you have abortions or whatever, perhaps there should be some sort of, looking into, so it's not used like McDonald's. It's not just drive through, get abortion, come back,
It's
drive through.
definitely
Okay.
not.
I guess I'm saying like even the guy
Why?
could get punished.
Well, wait a second. See, now listen, this is first
Not
off.
punished. Punished is the wrong word.
No, actually
But,
punish is the right word. Because that is
I
what
guess
it
I'm
is.
saying like some sort of
What's wrong
sex
with
education.
wait a second. What's wrong with, as a political matter, you're going to vote for who you're going to vote for. I don't know if you vote for Democrats as it is or not, but I think punish is the right answer because again, it is, you're not allowed, according to this fundamentalism, to engage in sex unless it is to create a child. And if you do, you deserve to be punished.
okay, so this guy is he saying that he considers babies to be punishment? That babies are a natural punishment for having sex, and that he thinks pro-lifers want to punish women by making them have one of those loathsome, horrible babies around, like, oh, it's a baby, oh, oh, oh. And that women go, oh, I've been punished with this baby, oh, babies are the most horrible thing imaginable. I mean, is this really what this guy thinks?
And so the flip side of that is it should not be easy for you to control your biological fate. So you shouldn't be able to get it like it's McDonald's. Now,
But it's also just
But-
a false notion. It's not treated like it's McDonald's. It's actually quite traumatic. And
First of all, it's not like McDonald's. I have said this before. Fast Eddie Allred, who is credited with creating the assembly line abortion, one of his admirers said that he did for abortion what Ray Kroc did for hamburgers. He made it fast. Get them in and get them out. So this picture of abortion being like McDonald's, this isn't this guy pulling something out of his butt. This woman needs to get with the program. Abortions are an assembly line thing that's sold so that they can get as many women through as possible. Bam, 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 bam. One after the other. Typically, they have rooms across the hall. Get woman one into room one. Get her in stirrups, get her covered up. Doctor walks in while he's doing her. You get woman number 2 in room number 2. You get her set up so that when he's done with that first woman, he's pulling off his gloves. He goes across the hall. Woman number 2's ready. You're back in room number 1. Get her into recovery as quickly as possible. Maybe you wipe the blood off the table. Get her down. It is like flipping burgers the way they treat these women.
I mean, it's traumatic for
Oh,
women.
I know.
Well, first of all, I don't think it's that traumatic, and it doesn't have to be.
It can be.
It certainly can be, but so can getting your appendix out.
Yeah, this guy just takes such a trivial view of abortion that, frankly, I have so little respect for this man that I'm not even going to listen any further. I'm having to redo my clothes because I got so ticked off at this guy that I started talking really fast and saying some things I'd have to edit out, and I was saying them too fast to edit them out. Basically, I'm through with this guy. He strawmans the caller. He strawmans pro-lifers. His ideas are so divorced from reality. It's kind of like Trump derangement syndrome, only he's got pro-lifer derangement syndrome. He's so absolutely clueless that it's pointless to go on.